What is going on, guys and girls? It's Ghost Robo, and right here you are witnessing a speed run, or rather just my second attempt at 7-5, the boss from level 7, the final sphere of 7. And this was something I wanted to upload because it was an episode. If you go back and look, it took me about 20-25 minutes to complete this level. And then when I did it for a second time, because my brother accidentally knocked off the Xbox, and so I had to redo it to get back to the point where I was, it only took me about 4 minutes. I thought it was something really interesting and telling about the game, that the block puzzles are so first-timey. Like, it's so ingrained that the first time you do this, it's going to be really challenging and tough. And even if you don't remember the exact pushes and pulls, you will remember sort of the overall strategies and the overarching concepts that got you to the top. I kind of just wanted to show it to you and let you see how cool it looks when you know what you're doing and you can actually go through something really fast. I thought we'd use this time to talk about sort of my review, my overall thoughts, and kind of comprehensive review of Catherine. Now that I've had some time after I played it, I obviously gave some opinions in the ending video, but this gives me a chance to kind of reflect and talk about it. And one thing I think Catherine did really well that I did mention in the ending video is that it gives you the feeling, at least for most levels, of great success over a very real struggle over these block towers. That it's not like, oh my god, you just defeated this guy who has huge armor, but really you just had to shoot him with 5 bullets. Like, it's a really real and kind of in-your-face struggle that is right there in front of you. There is a humongous tower, and you gotta climb it, and it's challenging and tough, and the way that you climb it is very organic. You can create it in your own way, and it kind of pushes you right to that brink of frustration, yet it, keeps it on a level where you're still enjoying yourself. I think that's the game's greatest strength in these aspects, and its mechanics and its gameplay, is the fact I never really liked this boss. I don't like his face or his attacks or anything, or when he shut out the lights like a frickin', I don't know, but I just like that it challenges you and keeps you on your toes while still, I feel, especially the second half of the game, like there's like a middle portion where it gets really hard, and whether it's because they are the hardest levels or because you don't have the appropriate skill set, I felt like I was hitting my head against a brick wall. I'm like, I can't figure this out, and it was taking me 7, 8, 9, 10 tries. But if you look at the back half of the game and you followed my walkthrough, I didn't die very many times at all. The second, the back third, back half, and I think that's really a testament to the fact that either they trained you really well, or they just found that difficulty zone and hit the needle right where it needed to be, to make you feel like, man, I'm really doing hard work, and at the same time I'm succeeding consistently. And I can't really think of many games that do that. The only one that comes to mind is Portal 2, that makes you feel like you're doing these incredibly complex things, and yet you're solving them at a pretty decent pace. Now, some people wanted Portal 2 to be harder, me being one of them, but still, that's one of my top games probably of all time, so I can't really complain. That being said, let's talk a little bit about something that we didn't have much chance to talk about in the ending, which is why, for me, the talking and the choice of Catherine versus Catherine and all that kind of works so well for me. I think if you look at games, I really enjoy games that have lots of endings and choices. Now, overall, I am much more of a linear game fan than I am an open world fan. I would prefer a story that is predefined and really nailed down than me being, just running around and, some random crazy, moments happen, but for the most part, you're doing a story that, it's not really fully featured, per se. If you look at something like, let's take some examples. If you look at Fallout 3, that game ends, and the conflict is like, will you save this or will you don't? Sort of similar with New Vegas. And, then if you look at something like Infamous, okay, you end up either bad or good, and it's like, oh, it depends whether you save this. You don't really save the city in the first one, or not save the city. It kind of ends up the same thing, but it's like bad versus good, and there's no, I don't know, I don't feel like, with a lot of games that have you choose one ending or the other, I don't feel like there's really a solid connection to what you're up against. Like, okay, whether whether I save this thing in New Vegas or I don't, like, yeah, you get to see the buildings and interact with the people, but this game places you like a really in-your-face connection with Catherine, and therefore you feel really attached to, oh my god, I really know that there's something huge at stake here, and I feel really tight and close to both characters. I've heard from them a lot, you see them a lot. It's not some, big structure up in the distance like, we will get there and conquer the tower, or not conquer the tower. Like, to me, it feels really like I really have a decision to make here, because I feel really close to these people and I really care what happens. Fallout 3, Infamous, like, it's cool whether or not you get the good ending or the bad ending, but ultimately it's like, well, I don't really care. I just, I did what I did during the game, and that was the fun part. Here, the ending really mattered to me. It's something I think that really sets Catherine apart, and the only game I can think of that has somewhat of a similar, end game as Mass Effect 2, where there's lives at stake and there's like a major consequence. It's not like, did you become the evil man of the city? Or did you become the good hero of the world? Like, okay, like, whatever. Like, that's great, but ultimately it's like a binary thing. Like, either you get the red suit or the blue suit. Here, it's like, there's people at stake, and I think people at stake is something that games can learn from. I hope you enjoyed this speedrun. See how fast and good I got. I hope you enjoyed the playthrough. I love Catherine. 99.5 out of 10. Fantastic game. Thank you guys very much for watching. Have a fantastic day, and until the next time we meet again, we will see you later.